Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TC Plus Show. Today we have a very special guest on. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And how would you be of relation to this this episode?
Well, I'm the guest.
I'm starting to crap.
No,
I just answered your question poorly.
no,
I'll do much better.
Okay.
Stop laughing.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, go. Please talk.
My name's Danielle. I am married to Corey, and by extension, I'm Tyler's cousin. I was going to call you
cousin-in-law,
Corey,
I guess.
Cousin-in-law.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah, it's true. Yeah, we're very excited to have you on. We're going to ask you some deep questions. Not at all about your marriage. No, I'm kidding. I did have someone. Sorry.
First female guest.
Yes, first female guest.
Yeah, that's big.
I had someone ask me to ask Danielle for her side of how you guys met. I don't know if you want to talk about that. You don't have to, but you can if you want.
Who asked you that?
I don't remember, but I know someone asked me that. So
I think it's the same as Corey's side.
is it?
You just go for it.
We
I'm okay with it.
met through friends. We met on a golf course, actually. And then
Where all good relationships start.
apparently, yeah.
Have you ever golfed, Tyler?
I have once or twice.
Yeah.
Just with the boys though, so kind of lacking there.
Did you finish your story or?
I don't know. I'm just going to keep it simple.
Okay.
That works. That's easy. That's nice. All right, so we're gonna start with 3 quick questions here. 2 from me, 1 from Corey. Although I don't know, Corey, have you asked her everything and that you wanted to know? I kind of assumed.
I have a really lame question.
Okay,
It's
fantastic.
basically fact checking. So we'll get to it when we get to
Yeah,
it.
for sure. All right, so what's a hobby that you've always wanted to pick up but haven't?
Oh,
That's a good one.
that is a good question. There's a lot. I was looking at a bucket list that I had the other day that I made when I was in like grade 8, and I'd done everything on it except learn to play guitar. But I don't really want to do that anymore, but it's something I've thought about my whole life, I guess.
There's a guitar right over there.
I know.
Corey started jamming.
That's
He can
what I
give you
said.
lessons, you know.
But I was there when you read that list, and you're like, I don't want to play guitar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now I'd like to know how to sew better, like make my own clothes.
Interesting. Weirdly enough, as I read that question, I was kind of thinking of the same thing.
You want to learn how to sew?
It kind of. Well, in different types of sewing, maybe than just clothes, but there's some interesting things you can do with kind of leather and stuff like that as well. So,
There is.
but I don't have the materials to do that, so I'll probably never learn. It's like one of those things.
What do you mean you don't have the material?
Well, don't you need special materials for leather making?
Like leather?
Well, yeah, but other stuff other than leather too, right?
Yeah,
like
so you'd have to buy it to get started.
Yeah,
But you could.
that would make
It's not
sense. Okay, yeah, it's just money's
It's like
tight
I'm
and all
the
that.
king of hobbies here. I can tell you how to get into hobbies.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you just buy your way in.
That's right.
Yeah. So I have one thing that is kicking around that I plan to explore once, and I bought it and I never touched it.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you what it
Well,
is?
yeah, I was kind of
Okay.
Well, like I can't just leave it off now that you started.
Well, you were leaving space there, but you didn't ask, so I didn't want to give you too much information.
Well, what is it, Corey?
Oh, well, let me tell you. An Arduino kit.
Ah,
So kind of programming type of stuff. Yeah, so it's sitting there in the shed. I've never, and this I had it be before we met or during we met.
I think before. I thought you got it out once, and started playing with it a little more. Maybe you're just showing me that you had it.
I think
Here's another.
I have never plugged it into my computer to start anything.
Yeah.
that should be right on the corner then. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow night. Yeah.
No.
You can have a party. You can make leather, and you can. Arduino.
Anyway, so yeah,
a couple that goes hand in hand right there. Leather making and Arduinos.
So you think if you think you might be interested, just buy the things to do it, and then if you end up not doing it, you're not that interested.
Sure, but then you've also lost money. That's a great idea right there. Yes, sir. So what do you got for her?
My mic fell down here a little or something. What's your favorite chocolate bar?
Oh.
And you don't. I'm just curious, where it's at by now. Because back in our dating days, you had told me.
Yeah. So I I think I told you that it was Kit Kat.
Okay.
But I actually didn't remember that I told him that, and then he kept buying me Kit Kats. And I really like them, so it's good. Yeah. But and I still really like them. Like that's probably my favorite in the box of 5. But other favorite would be like those Lindt like dark chocolate with blank bars.
Like you're saying with something in them?
Yeah. Okay. Like it can change.
Like orange or...
Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe I should specify then.
Does anyone
sea salt or those little caramel flecks?
Okay.
You know those orange balls that you get at Christmas? Does anyone actually like those?
I kind of
like. Do you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Okay.
I don't really go and buy them, but like if it was sitting there on the plate, I'd take one.
Okay. I thought they were kind of one of those things that everyone just kind of bought for people because everyone did it, but no one actually enjoyed it. That was my hypothesis, anyways.
Kind of like socks, but like the older you get, the more you want socks.
That's true, I guess. I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, I'm getting there.
I put socks on my list like for the last 2 Christmases. But,
really?
Yeah, but they're funky socks or like fun socks is what I go for.
Mm-hmm. There are some interesting socks out there. Yeah. All right. So, what is something that instantly makes your day better? If you're having a bad day, what brings it to another happy level?
Oh, if I'm at work and suddenly they're like, there's donuts in the lunchroom. Or coffee. Like someone brought in this or that. And it's like a bonus that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Just turns it right around. That makes my day
better. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. 3,000 questions book. What? 3,000 questions book of questions. It's time.
All right.
That's you almost said 3,000 books there for a bit. Yeah. I was like, that's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books. All right, tell me when to stop. Do you know the rules?
I think so.
Yeah, if you don't know the rules, go watch every other episode. You'll figure out the rules. Yeah.
She's
I was going to say, I'm a faithful listener. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic.
Stop.
What are 3 things you look for in a partner? Very interesting. We got that out of this episode. I planned it all along. What can I say? Oh, you want to go for another question, or?
Sure, do one more. I'm not looking for a partner. I have one. Oh, stop! I forgot I was supposed to.
Fantastic.
What question are we at?
2,977.
Wow, so that's about
that was just in time.
What is your favorite job beginning with the letter T?
Favorite job beginning with the letter T that I would have to do?
I don't know.
Teacher.
Okay. Do a lot of teaching?
No. Okay. Part of my job is teaching. Yeah.
What? I don't actually know. What do you do? I have no idea.
I'm a dietitian. I work in a kidney dialysis unit, and I teach people about what they need to eat for their specific medical condition.
So this is where Corey, when I was doing my diet, why he was getting so angry with me, because he knew more about diets.
I was not angry with you, Tyler.
He was very angry.
Not angry. I was just questioning your behavior.
Understandable.
And your goals, but I think you're a pretty reasonable guy.
You passed.
Questionable. Yeah. All right, Danielle, you brought a topic today. Let's get started on that topic.
All right. I was thinking about names. So how important is the name of a person, place, or thing? Does the name set like what the thing is going to be, or is it more like the thing defines the name? So you can kind of take that in a lot of ways. And before I tell you my thoughts, I actually wanted to hear yours.
Okay.
So when you gave the title, I was very confused, like over Messenger or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you gave me like a little more clarity.
Yeah.
Maybe you should like toss that out yet too.
Okay. Sure. So I've been thinking about this for a few reasons. One of them is that a place that I used to work changed their name, and it like makes me feel differently about that organization. And I've been pondering, like, is it just a funky name, or like is the name that important? And there's that old, I think it's a Shakespeare quote, "Would a rose by any other name smell as sweet?" And then the other place that I've been come across that you think about this is those videos on YouTube where they're like, let's take random words and see if they'd make a good child's name. And they're like, diarrhea.
Wait, what?
because so you're like words that sound kind of poetic, but even though their meaning's not, like cholera, diarrhea.
Oh goodness.
So in that, it kind of makes you think that, well, the meaning of the word is really important, because you wouldn't name your child diarrhea.
Well, I was about to say I don't want to. I hope that's not the plan here. You know, interesting. Corey, you want to start us off?
Okay, sure. My mind went and goes a couple different ways. Talking about the rose, is it like, this doesn't even go to the name part, but like, is it the rose is even like, how do I explain it? Like hyped up for what it is because of like everyone else and the commercialization of it or whatever. Like, what if we replace that with a tulip? Or maybe it's not, I guess a tulip isn't quite as, it's not as intricate, but like, could there be other flowers that are just as pretty and intricate as the rose? And if we would have put that back in history, however, I don't know what the history of the rose is, but like, how did it become like that love flower or whatever you kind of imagine it as today? And so like, that's I guess it kind of has to do with like how you think of things, because a name is the same way, right? Like, when we think of a certain name of something, it's like, how does that, like the word Kleenex, I mean, technically it's a facial tissue, but around here we call anything a facial tissue a Kleenex. And that's a very powerful brand name. What does the word Kleenex actually mean? Like, outside of, like, does it have more meaning, or did someone just make it up? Kind of like Uber.
True.
There's,
I kind of imagine those stuff's just made up randomly.
right?
Kleenex, like, I think it's just a random made up word caught on. People are like, and then became like the biggest company for facial tissues or something like that. Is that how it got caught on or something?
I'm guessing. Too many more questions to like poke me in.
Well, I think when you get to like the name brand level of things, that's like a whole different story, because then there's like something we associate with that thing, and then you can use it to define other things, like Oreos or something. Like, then that name sells if you have an Oreo.
Funny you should bring up Oreos. See, because my mind went to something I heard on a podcast. It was a football podcast. They're talking about Oreos for some reason. So anyways, apparently there was a company called Hydrox, and they made the first Oreo. And it was like, looked about the exact same. It tasted the same. It was an Oreo, or it was the original Oreo, but it was called Hydrox. Who wants to eat a cookie called Hydrox? That sounds like a cleaning supply. And I have a feeling that that's why those didn't catch on quite as well. Now, maybe it could be a variety of other things. But when you think of buying a cookie called Hydrox, it just doesn't sound as good as an Oreo. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But then, like, that part of me wonders, like, if it would have caught on more, would we be like, who wants, like, Oreo? Sounds like a bird.
It does. Well, you just think that because of Oreo?
Yeah. But, like, sure. Right? Like, yeah. I don't know.
So, can you think of anything that's caught on that has, like, a disgusting name? Or by the time, like, we all know what it is and love it, we, like, kind of forgive the name.
Well, think about, like, food names that sound terrible, like sour cream. That's sour cream.
Fair enough.
Like, it's good. That should be thrown out, right? Like, when you think about it.
Right.
But yet we all eat it. But that's not really a name, a brand. So I don't know.
It's a name though, or a label.
Trying to get that. That's the first thing that came to mind. That was also from the same podcast. But like, whatever.
Tyler just ripped it off.
Yeah. I'm just cheating stuff, you know.
So I did a case study, I think, in business school with that Oreo thing. I didn't remember it was called Hydrox, but I know there was like a previous sandwich cookie. I think they were the first sandwich cookie or whatever you call it on the market. And yeah, but Oreo came over and took over. I forget what all happened, but there's definitely some interesting things there.
They actually tried to push back into the market, apparently, for whatever reason. You know, tried to take back the Oreo crown, but failed.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like when you ask, do we know anything disgusting or bad that like is good in our minds? I can't think of anything super. Like, I mean, you said sour cream, but like when I went to what I came to the end of is just like everything in life, it's a balance.
You can just say that anytime and it works.
You can. Yeah. But like, think about it again. I think like you need, like, if you have a really horrible bad name, if we go to one extreme, it's just not going to do well. But then on the flip side, you have a really good name, but like you're not doing anything about it. It also isn't going to work.
Yeah. You can, like, the name of something, like a product, should reflect a bit of the meaning of the product. Like if a Mustang car was called a unicorn, it was the exact same car. Like that doesn't convey like what you want. The word Mustang is used for something like, I don't know, fast and strong, and a unicorn is cute and sparkly.
Fluffy. Yeah.
And it's just like, so for that, the name matters. But then like for people, I think if Tyler was, I don't know, a different name, he might
Daniel.
Still be, that's my name.
No, Daniel.
I know, but it's the masculine.
Fair.
But yes.
Mark.
What if we go like Spanish or something?
Sure.
So I was listening to a podcast or a TED Talk on someone with a Korean name, and then she changed her name because she was an author and she wanted a different name on the book because she thought it would sell better. There's a bit of, I don't know how long ago this was, but it was like Korean names weren't popular in the culture in America, and so she changed it. And then she like realized that her name carried more like sentimental and historical significance, and so she changed it back to using her name. So that's where, like, I think if you were like Jose or something Chinese or a different culture, like it might affect how people what they expect.
We would think that like Tyler grew up like south of the border somewhere. Like South America, Mexico, something.
Do Americans ever name their kid with a Spanish name even though they have no Spanish heritage? Is that racist? I don't know. Can you do that?
There's a lot of Americans with a Spanish heritage of some sort.
I would say like with like no Spanish heritage and American. Yeah. I'm going to say yes because it's America, but like probably very little. Yeah. To like nothing, but like if I would find an article of like someone like that, I would not be surprised.
It probably happens.
Because America.
Yeah, America.
Yeah.
But I would see it more common the other way around. Like if you're in a minority people group, you would name your kid a name from the majority so that when they go to school, they sound like...
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like, in the pop culture, there's a lot of people that would have like a different name than what they're...
Right. Because I was also thinking, like, do names have meaning? And then, like, would your gangster name or your rapper name be, like, your current name?
I forget how you figure that out, but I'm not sure I want to know.
No, don't. But, like, that's where, like, a name kind of conveys a certain vibe. Or, like, in a certain context, DJ name, you would, like...
As well, I was thinking, like... So if your dad was really famous and you were given his name but Junior on the end, for an instance, and then you're doing the same thing as your dad, you'd have a certain standard to live up to. Or mom, I guess. You know, you can flip it on either side. You'd have a certain standard to live up to with their legacy they left behind. And I'm guessing people would kind of judge you based on that, I'd imagine.
But like even just last name and... Like, imagine in this area, since this is close to where Justin Bieber grew up, you run into Biebers. Like you're probably getting like, oh, are you related to him?
It's true. It's true.
Are you his brother? Are you his cousin or whatever? Right? Like, because chances are they might be.
Just could be. Would you want to be Justin Bieber's cousin?
I think I'm neutral on that.
Okay. All right.
I think
you wouldn't want try to get a piece of the old fame. Actually, I feel like it's kind of cringe if you try to grab fame off of someone just by being their cousin.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are people that would do it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not me.
Okay. You're more grounded than that.
But not for the fame, but just, like, for the interest of knowing, like, behind the scenes of a famous person. I think that would be cool. But
Danielle,
whole other question.
She's a little more fangirly than I do.
It's true. All right, we're gonna move it on to food for thought.
Okay.
And I don't have food to taste, unlike Corey, because
that was just a wild episode.
He's got a big budget for episodes. I've got a smaller budget, and I can't quite fill those shoes. So, anyways, my question is, what's the best way to bake a cookie? Because Corey likes cookies.
We've talked a lot about
cookies and talked about how raisins are bad in them and such like.
Oh, yes.
But we've never talked about what's the best way to bake a cookie.
So, and then the other question would be like, if you baked a raisin cookie perfectly and a chocolate chip cookie terribly, which one would you eat?
Okay, how bad a baked are we talking?
Well, like, first we have to say what we like.
Let's start with the original thing here.
Hey, you're the guest.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, guest first. Why not? Go.
I feel like there's one answer.
Okay, and then the other thing, it's just baked perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
So when you say how to bake a cookie, are you talking with the person that's doing the baking or like how it's baked?
I'm talking about the finished product. Now, I suppose you could answer that question with like in the microwave or in a toaster oven, or you could try different. I'm a big fan of those methods. No, I don't know. I'm just meaning the finished product.
Okay, because it is fun to make. You can take like cookie dough and put it in a mountain pie iron, and then that's a unique way to bake a cookie.
That sounds
But
fantastic.
in terms of like what the cookie is like, it should be kind of soft in the middle. And then like a little crispy. I don't know if crispy is the right word, but like.
I think crispy is better than the word crunchy.
Yeah, crunchy. Yeah. Crunchy is like kind of as if it's overdone.
Just like a bit crispy on the outside or something. But there are variations of deliciousness. Like depending how thick your dough is and stuff like that, you can get away with different stuff. But generally, I want the middle to be soft.
Mm-hmm. Corey, you feel the same way?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But I was just thinking, what about like there's different cookies, like chocolate chip cookie?
Oh, that was for chocolate chip.
Yeah, I did pose this question meaning just chocolate chip cookies, but if you want to keep going, yeah.
So like, yes, I need them, not need them. I want them done, like just like Danielle explained. It's fine if they're not, but that's the premium. Is like that, and like you should be able to take them and kind of bend them a bit before they like are breaking and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not even snap, but like that's way far gone snapping. But even like crumpling apart as soon as you start like twisting it. Mm-hmm. But like if you can get to like, I'll say like a roof.
Yeah.
That kind of angle. Then
this is much like the bacon conversation where audio people won't really get the full scale of what Corey's saying, but it's about a 45 degree angle. Yeah.
Is that what a roof is normally?
Well, it depends on the roof.
That's true. There's some flat.
No, I mean, well, hey, there's modern housing nowadays, flat roofs.
Yes. So okay, that's a bad audio representation.
No, it's just a 45 degree angle. It's not that deep. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, if you can take it on a 45 without breaking it, it's good.
Like there has to be a thin cookie then. Like there's some good cookies that are a little thicker that you wouldn't get that much bend out of.
Yeah. But I'm not like a thick cookie guy.
He's a thin cookie boy.
Yeah.
I like if you can see like the chocolate chips kind of sticking out because like they're kind of mountains in the cookie versus like buried into the dough and like it's all kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I kind of know what you're talking about.
If a cookie's flat enough that the chocolate chips kind of pop out of the top a wee bit, like
I think there's such a thing as too thin, though. I would kind of go in between, whereas they're like little hills. Kind of think of them as a grassy knoll, but without the grass and not really a knoll. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I'll eat those, but there's better ones.
Sure. Okay, so I felt the exact same way. Now, the thing is that I've heard of people that like their cookies just crunchy. And just die by the fact that crunchy's the best. And they're talking just for regular chocolate chip here, too. I don't understand that. I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay.
The one advantage is, like, it's a good dipping cookie then.
It's true.
You won't lose, like, a piece in your...
Or whatever you're dipping, I guess.
And you kind of need, I think, some liquid with it. Milk, coffee, tea. I'm pretty dippy.
You dip your cookies in tea? Okay, chocolate chip. Well, I guess hard cookies you can dip in tea. Probably. Chocolate. Can you dip chocolate chip cookies in tea?
Very carefully.
She's a dipper.
Goodness. Okay, I see.
Yeah. That's a very big no-no in my world, is dipping cookies into anything.
So even Oreos?
Doesn't matter what the cookie is. Don't dip it unless you're dipping it into, like, I don't know, like an icing or like a, I don't know, what would you...
Dunkaroo.
Yeah,
Dunkaroo. You kind of have to. It's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, something like that's designed like not a liquid. I guess don't dip it into liquid.
Okay, interesting.
I'm curious though how much of that comes from like the fact that you don't like a lot of or commonly drink much other than water, like tea, coffee, milk.
So does it make the tea better or does it make the cookie better?
Just the experience better.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the tea better, I guess.
But like, I don't know. I was just thinking like there's some cookie dips. Like you can do like a cookie charcuterie board, not?
Yeah.
And you could have like a
there's some
cookie,
sort of like
that cookie, this cookie, and then you have like a little, I don't know what it is, but like a cookie dip.
It's cookie dip with often scorbits or something like that in there. I've seen
that's
a
like
lot.
The apple one though.
Okay.
Maybe, but yeah, like some kind of cream cheese based dip. Yeah. And then like you could get that really good Biscoff cookie butter stuff. That would be good.
Like the stuff you get on airplanes?
That's the cookie that you... Yes.
There's like
that's always the highlight of my flights.
There you go. You could have that on your cookie board. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'm not dipping a cookie.
Okay. Interesting.
Are you a dipper?
Well, no, I try. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just... Okay. I don't ever really dip. If I'm going to be like, it's just stick it in the mouth and go. But like, if I have a glass of milk and there's an Oreo and, and I think about it, like, oh yeah, these are meant to be dipped, then I might have a dip, but that's about it.
Do you take the Oreo apart?
No, I kind of consider that as weird. Like it's like you're like at least if you're a grown adult, like you're old enough to just eat the cookie. You don't need to play with your food first.
That's too bad.
You take apart your Oreos, don't you?
I can eat them straight, but they're just more fun.
And I guess having fun's good. It's just
I'm a child.
You're like what? Like 27, 29, 30? Who knows? I don't know.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
So
I'm kidding.
The reason why I thought that is because like sometimes I think of like a Oreo dipper would maybe take it apart, lick off the icing, and then dip the other pieces into the milk. And
that would probably improve the plain pieces a little bit. I don't have much experience doing that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Okay, sweet. Yeah. Wait, one last question I had with this is, do you like your cookies hard if they're bought? Like, is that fine? If they're like store-bought, run-of-the-mill cookies?
So I had thought of this. May I just jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I had thought of this, and I was going to mention something, and I totally forgot. Is like the little ones that are like really crunchy?
Ooh, like the Famous Amos cookies?
I don't know that.
Shout out to Famous Amos.
I don't know who that is. But
they're unreal.
It's like, I don't know, maybe like a little Chips Ahoy or something. Maybe not. Something that's just little and crunchy. But when we were kids, sometimes, very rarely us, but someone somewhere, maybe our cousins, would get like a box of these that are kind of broken. Like, I don't know, they fell off the line or what, and they packaged them into like this big cardboard box. And they're just like broken cookies. And then they stuffed them in the freezer. And those frozen, like little hard crunchy cookies, half cookies, quarter cookies, crumbs, whatever, were fantastic.
Do you eat them cold too, obviously?
Yeah, like just... you pull the... You actually get them down to a spot you can put them in fix and mix, right?
Yeah.
And then you fix and mix comes out of the freezer. Like you pull off the lid and you start eating.
Start munching.
Yes.
Interesting.
So like frozen, crunchy, store-bought cookies.
So did your cousins have like a back alley in a Sun for Cookie Factory? They just...
No, this was... Like, there's a local store you could buy them. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
You might still be able to.
Need to get on that. Need to figure that out. I'm going to try this. All right.
It's a big investment, though, Tyler.
Is it? Is it expensive?
Well,
it's a hobby.
This isn't just a little case of Oreos. This is like
it's like a Costco size box.
Well, I'd say even bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
extra Costco.
This is like a box. Like
it's a Texas Costco size box.
Like what? Maybe a foot by a foot, maybe a foot and a half. I don't know. By like 6 inches, full of cookies.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying I'm not eating that in one sitting?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's a big investment.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, if you're going to get into the hobby of eating cookies, be aware it's a bit of an entry fee.
Yeah. Might be the same as leather. Who knows?
Yeah, I think leather is the better hobby here in this case. All right. For my topic, it's a little all over the place. I want to talk about brains. Brains. So first thing, this from where this probably originated was someone I saw just on the internet asked the question: if you think out loud, is it really thinking, or are you talking to yourself? I don't even know if it's a good question, but hey, it started where my brain was going. And then I've got some other things, but you don't need to spend a lot of time.
So I'll put a little bit into here. I'm not a think out louder at all.
No,
I'm a think in a quiet space guy. So like I can't even really answer this question because I don't know what kind of headspace someone is in when they're thinking out loud. For me, I'll get like 1,000,001 like thoughts quickly hitting me.
Yeah.
And like my brain kind of almost short circuits. And then so if there's distraction included in that, then like I can't like separate those thoughts quite as easily and figure it out. And so then if it's like, if I can just like give me a moment and then like, okay, here's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. I kind of consider people that think out loud as a little bit weird.
Yeah, I'd say that's like a polite way to say that I'm talking to myself, but it can be productive.
It can? Okay. All right.
Possibly.
It probably just depends how you like to think things through. There are some people just stroll around and just being like, one person at work in particular, where she just like goes around and like thinks out loud. And I'm like, okay, there are other people around, but like you're just thinking your thoughts out loud. I don't really have a problem with it. It's just, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I've run into a similar person and I would have got really frustrated with them, but just previously I think I'd read a book or something. It was a marriage counseling on like how different people like think and like process things. And one of those is there's some people to be able to think through things, they need to like talk through them. And that was like so foreign to me. And so when this person comes and talks to me, it's not Danielle.
Yeah.
When this person comes and like is just like spitballing these random things at me, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Are you like? It's because I think he's coming to me with an idea or like a solution or something. Because like that's how I would operate.
Right.
But he's not. He's just like throwing stuff out there. And to me that like I'd be like get your act together, figure it out, and then come talk to me. Like don't waste my time. But then knowing that okay, this is how he gets his stuff figured out, then I can be like, okay.
And he doesn't necessarily want feedback, right? Like always, or some of the people I know.
This person would be, but some of them might not be.
Yeah.
But it's just like so I'm like, okay, I can sit here and just like throw random stuff back and then we can kind of brainstorm and let him think through that or whatever.
Interesting. Different way that the brain works. All right. Another thing saw a video of just randomly on the internet. Once again, that's how I come across these things. Is can you visualize objects in your brain? Which most people can. You're in a 3% person group if you can't. But there are people that, like, if you tell them to picture a zebra standing in the grass, they can't picture a zebra standing in the grass. There's also different variations of clarity. Like, can you see a zebra standing in the grass?
Yes.
Yes.
Good job. You're not in the 3%. Fantastic work.
Why don't we want to be in the 3%?
Well, the 3% can't picture anything. They just have the idea of a zebra.
So
why
they think in
why
words?
don't we want to?
Yeah, more so.
Why don't we want to be in that 3%?
Because it just doesn't sound as fun. You know?
Maybe like that way of thinking allows them to do better at something else.
You know, that's true. But, like, I don't know, Corey. I didn't think that far ahead. I just assumed that since most people can do it, it's better.
But maybe
That's not
maybe
a
they're
correct
like the
way of thinking.
special people. Like
They might be. They
like
might
we
be.
can't all build rockets and go to space.
From
Only a small percent of us can do that.
It's true. It's
And
true.
like, are they better than us, or is it better to be like the people that can't?
Well, from what I could tell is that the people that can't were jealous of the people that could. And they were like, wait, what? You guys can picture stuff? This is crazy. I wish I could do this.
Huh.
So if you can't picture stuff, tell us, are you better than us? If so, tell us why. I would love to know, and I'm very interested. And yeah, that's about all I have there. It's just, you know, something interesting.
I have noticed, though, that when I read a book, I'm not always picturing what happens. Like, I'm just...
So it's not like a movie in your brain as you read through?
No.
Doesn't that make
What
reading
is it?
less fun?
Sometimes it is a little bit, but, like, I don't have a face for, like, every character. And
I always like create characters' faces and stuff like that. And then, you know, and then like, so if there's like a book and then there's a movie of that book and eventually you watch the movie after you've read the book, but you didn't know how the movie characters looked, then you're like, why do they look like that? That's so wrong, but it's just not.
And I'll
how
just
you create
accept
them.
it. 'cause-
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think I make faces for my people when I read a book, but I would still think maybe if I watched a movie or saw the person, I'd be like, that's not right. But not. I haven't.
It's not like you've created something either. It's just
No, but like I've maybe created an idea of what someone might somewhat look like, and that
Yeah.
does not
Okay.
fit in. But like
Sure.
I don't have
Right.
like this is how you look. But one of the weird things about me and talking about how people look is like I can very much remember someone's like face. If I've seen them before, I can probably remember that I've seen them before.
so you got a good memory for faces.
Yes, but not for names.
Names are a struggle then.
No, like I could. I'm trying to think of a scenario, but like I could go to somewhere and be somewhere and be hanging out with people 2 or 3 times and have known this person's name. I mean, not like really, really hanging out, but in the general something where I'm like, we've shook like the neighbor. I didn't know my neighbor's name, and I forget it every time for quite a while.
Do you still know? Do you know it
No,
now?
I know it now.
Okay, you figured it out.
We had some interactions this spring, and then I put it like in my phone,
Yeah.
and so like, I
Okay.
spelled his name in. But in case I forget, I put the word neighbor behind it. That way, if I type neighbor in, he'll show up. And so we're 2 years in, and
I don't know his name.
and I keep forgetting his name, and I used to remember, like, I should remember it, but I don't. But, like, I can go to a restaurant maybe 3-4 months apart and know that, like, no, it could even be 6. And I'm like, that person has been here before.
You recognize the person there, or
Like,
like the waitress or waiter or something.
Yeah, somewhere, I'm like, or the person that showed up. Maybe not everyone, like, if they're, I don't know, just kind of fade into the background type of person, then maybe not. But like if they're, I don't know, wearing a funky shirt or this or that, then I'd probably remember them.
Yeah. I'd say I'm bad at both. So that's pretty cool. Story with the name thing is like, so I started my job in about like October. It wasn't until 3 weeks ago, I think, or so, that I finally learned 3 people's names. and there's only 14 people that work there. So you might be it's not quite as bad as you might think. So I had the 3 names there, but I didn't know which person was associated with which name.
Right.
And they work in the office, and I never talk to them. Like I might say hi in the mornings. That's about it. Actually, one of them I arrive with at like the same time to work every day and just say hi, good morning, and then she goes in the office, and I never see her like again until like the end of the day, or we might cross paths in the hallway or something. But you never have a conversation with them. So there's just 3 people there, and I didn't really have any reason to know their names. I should have known them, but I just didn't. I heard them at one point, but I just forgot them, and I didn't know which one was which.
But I thought you were saying you only know 3 people's names at your work.
Oh, no. That would be bad. That would be really bad. I know everyone's names now.
Okay.
So what went like that and made it suddenly no?
Right. So the problem was that I knew eventually one day I would need to deliver like a concept of, since we're printing stuff, need to deliver like here's what the finished product will look like to someone in the office who designed it, because they're all designers. And I knew that was going to have to happen. You'd rarely ever have to, but like just sometime it's going to have to happen. So then I asked my supervisor what their names were, and it was awkward. But we got it figured out in the end.
Oh, that's good. And
he didn't make me feel too bad, so it's good.
And now you remember.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I already remember now.
Like, were you after you took it there? Did you go back to your printing press?
Well, he actually kind of drew. He actually kind of drew it out. But yeah.
We're rehearsing. This is so and so. This is so and so. This is so and so.
Exactly.
Another couple minutes later, you go through it again.
Need to make sure you got it dialed in.
Kind of like memory cards or something.
Yeah, kind of. I should probably still make those just in case.
You should. Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Last thing here I've got with the brain stuff is I got fact or myth for brain facts. And, okay, so, all right. Let me just get started. I'm going to say something. Tell me if it's fact or a myth. People in the Stone Age completed brain surgeries. Or we think they have.
So there's that time when they did like the lobotomies, but I think that was after. So myth.
Yeah, that was way past Stone Age.
So myth.
But like a lobotomy is pretty like aggressive. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say way after Stone Age, but they did it way after Stone Age.
But it's very primitive. Like you can't get much more like basic than shoving something in someone's head.
Yeah. So they could have done some shenanigans like that in the Stone Age. I'm gonna go with fact.
So it is a fact apparently, and I don't know how. Like, what tools were they using?
But
what surgeries were they doing? Okay. I couldn't find that out. And this is according to about 2 sources that I checked, or at least I only checked 2 sources, and both of them said they did. So 100% fact rate on this podcast.
Please fact check us. Yeah,
please do. These things they need to fact check. But I'm just wondering, like, they shouldn't be able to do that. They were just climbing around with rocks and sticks at that time.
Yeah, they probably weren't successful.
No, they said they were successful. Like, people survived is what they think.
But like a survival.
Were they better?
I don't know. That's the true thing. Like, did it actually work? I don't know. But they were trying to do brain surgeries, which means they would have had to cut someone open and somehow heal it shut.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. It was more like, I think for a lobotomy, you just like shove something in and take it back out. Right? And I was curious if it'd be more something like that.
Maybe.
Than like lifting your skull and... But anyway.
Yeah.
You're acting like we use equipment to heal.
No, I know, but like... Okay, I imagine there'd be a lot more scarring going on.
And infection risk, too.
I just don't know much about surgeries, I guess. It's kind of where it comes from.
Here's the wild thing whenever I think about medical stuff.
Okay.
It's all... A lot of it, as much as we think, oh, we're so advanced, a lot of it feels so primitive to me.
Okay.
Like you're still... I don't know, like... I guess I don't know how to explain it, but like you're still like at the end of the day you're just like cutting and crimping and like,
well, what else are you supposed to do?
I know, but like I don't know.
Supposed to push a button, the machine just goes bloop and it's done? Is that what you want?
Well, I'm trying to think like there's more or
there's a lot of unknowns about how our bodies work still.
Like eyes, we haven't figured those out, have we?
I don't know.
And brains too, kind of haven't figured those out.
And like why, like someone can have symptoms for a long time and it's just really hard to say this is what it is.
we need cures for cancer. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, like if you want to think of barbaric stuff as like how we try to fix cancer, that's pretty. Some of that's pretty crazy.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
What do we do to fix cancer? I mean, well,
like radiation, like that's
radiation,
like
yeah.
that's like the horriblest thing ever.
Basically, like burning stuff away.
Right. Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
And then chemo is like the chemical version of that. So you're using drugs that are strong enough to kill your cancer cells and they wipe out other cells, but they're just not quite strong enough to ruin your whole body. But like,
Right. But you're dancing a fine line.
That's like lobotomy or what? How do you say that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like almost like that. I think like maybe in, 100 years or 50 years or who knows what, maybe 2, 3, 5, we're going to look at chemo and be like, what were we thinking doing that?
That would be great. That would be fantastic if that's the case.
Like that is just the most messed up thing ever. But I have no idea. It's just like, it just seems, there's some different things that I'm trying to think too, but like do people still like get jabbed in their chest if they have like a collapsed lung, or how does that all work? Like,
yeah, or like people with extra so if you have liver failure and your belly's really big because it's all full of fluid, like we just tap you and drain it out and then do that again a few weeks later.
That's some Wild West stuff right there.
No, like it makes sense.
It's like,
you got fluid, you got to get it out.
Fluid in his stomach. Shank him.
Anyway, this is not about the brain.
No, that's great. Fact or myth, humans only use 10% of their brains.
Who wants to go first?
I was wrong last time, so I want you to go first.
That's
myth.
I feel like we don't use it to the fullest capacity, but maybe that's a myth. Yeah.
It is a myth. We apparently use all of our brain.
Oh, okay.
And we also use all of it, or more than 10% while we sleep. Scientists used to think we don't really use our brain while we sleep, but stuff goes on. I mean, dreaming exists, so,
Well, and your heart's still beating.
Well, I know. Okay. I don't know what they were thinking, actually. You know what? I'm just making stuff up.
They probably thought our brain needs a break, and that's what we do when we sleep.
True. That's probably how it was.
Or something.
Anyway, we use our brains, all of it. So if you're dumb, you don't got some for unhinged thing that you can hatch and tap into, which is unfortunate. Your brain isn't fully formed until age 25. Fact or myth?
Yes.
Facts.
Matured, but if you're a woman, it will be sooner.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Your frontal lobe that has like the reasoning and the judgment. That's what they say anyway.
Because that's what's still forming is what I read until 25. So that's a fact.
How old are you?
20. So I got another 4.5 years until I am fully reasoned out.
Nice. What are you going to do with that information?
Probably not a whole lot, actually. Probably still make the same dumb decisions.
But now you have an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Right now I can still make them freely. And fact or myth, the human brain begins to lose some memory abilities as well as some cognitive skills by the late 20s.
I feel like that's true.
I was going to say the same.
Yeah, I think I make these things way too obvious, but yeah, it's true. It's true.
No, like honestly, I would, if I wouldn't be here in life, I would say it's false, but like sometimes it's just like I'm at 30 and I feel like I'm not quite as on it as I was sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that a scary feeling too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who do I need to sign my financial information over to look after for me?
It's only downhill from here.
That way I don't get scammed or something, right? Like,
yeah.
But
I'll take care of you.
You're soon going to be here too.
Yeah, no, you both are going to be there together. Yeah, it's a terrifying thought to me anyways. And I'm not there yet, but I'm right around the corner.
So basically like 26, 27, you're peaking.
Yeah, 25, 26, 27, you are at the top of your game. It is like 3 short years and then you're done.
That's why I've just started to notice it. I'm 28.
Yeah, exactly. After that, it's all downhill from there.
Make it worth it.
All right, on that note, can we have a good old-fashioned quote from Danielle?
Oh, yeah, you're going to ask me about a quote. Okay. Yeah. This is a quote I read on the whiteboard last year, and it's the quote I've remembered for the past year. Don't ask why.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it's because we were biking together a lot. So if you want... It is... what is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
That's very fitting, I think, for having you two on the podcast. It's fantastic.
There you go.
There you go.
You got anything else to say, Corey?
No.
Okay, that's great. I was kind of hoping for something, but whatever.
Well, if you want, I could come up with something.
No, we're fine.
Okay.
Your moment has passed.
Okay.
Thank you for watching or listening or whatever you do. If you were doing this in Braille, I don't know how you're doing it, but well done.
Thank you for watching.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you
for watching. Have a good day, y'all.
Have a great one. Sleep tight.
Bye-bye.